Guys, we're leaving. Let's jump in the van and talk about it. We said last week that we were going to be completing a little trilogy of local exploring along the Causeway Coast, and we were going to take you out towards kind of Castle Rock and up to Mucidden. But unfortunately, that's not going to be the case. I'll put a link up here to. We had a bit of a dander around Mucidden a number of months ago. I'll put a link up to that video. But our time is a little bit pressed, and we don't really have the time to go out and do much exploring along the Causeway Coast.
So you might have noticed recently Nigel's been talking about some plans that have been coming up. I think he's mentioned it in quite a few of the videos.
And you probably have saw her going...
Looking a bit scared. Well, I guess now's probably the best time to tell you what we're planning to do.
Exactly. And it's a little bit big. So we've actually been in Portrush now, hard to believe, 7 years. What was supposed to only be a very short, at least in my mind, a little short kind of 6-month stint, and then we were going to go off to Scotland and live, quickly became home. Not surprising, Portrush is a beautiful place, and we'll kind of swing back to that. In the next few days, we're actually leaving Portrush.
That's why I might be looking a bit shell-shocked at the moment, as I'm very torn.
Not only are we leaving Portrush, we're leaving Ireland. And not only are we leaving Ireland, we're leaving the UK.
Getting a bit emotional.
Yep. We are going full-time in the van. We're not quite sure how long that full-time is going to be, and we're not going to put any pressure on ourselves to say how long that full-time is going to be. We have a little bit of an idea, but as of next week, we're in the process of packing up our flat. I say we are packing up our flat. I've kind of done most of my packing in about half an hour, but as you can see here, Nicola has a few more bits and pieces to do. So we really are kind of just in the process of packing everything up. We have rented a storage unit, throwing everything into there, and hopefully by this time next week, we will be on the road.
And we're not renting out the flat, we're actually selling up completely, which is why I'm a bit emotional. A couple of reasons for that. One, I am absolutely terrified of not having a fixed home. And two, Portrush has been the most welcoming, amazing place to live. The community, the scenery, just the whole vibe of it. It's just the best. Now, it doesn't mean we won't be back, but I'm really sad to be leaving my friends, and that's why I'm a bit torn. I kind of want to see the world, but I also want to stay here.
We kind of had a plan about 10 years ago to take even before we thought about kind of van life and me even stopping working in the oil industry to go be a photographer. We always had a thought process that we were going to take a little bit of a break and go travelling. That was always the case. So this plan has been 10, 12 years in the making. Now, obviously, the last couple of years we have done some sort of reasonably long trips. We had 3 months in Spain, 3 months or so in northern France. But yeah, this is the first time that we'll be doing this, as Nicola says, not having a fixed...
Unhoused is what somebody called it, which I think is quite a good name.
Unhoused. I'm trying to be the calm kind of voice in all of this here, but all cards on deck. I'm even a little bit nervous as well, and she's probably going to freak out even more.
I'm completely terrified.
Even more about that. But at the same time, if I really kind of search my heart, I think I would be more terrified if someone was to say to me, Nigel, travel is off the table. You can't travel. And of course, the whole world went into no travel over the last couple of years. But to be maybe told, this is a choice for us, to be told that we can't travel, I think would be just as, if not more terrifying than staying put. So we have a bit of a rough plan, and we're going to ease ourselves into it, at least initially this year. We're hoping to do a couple of months down in Spain and Portugal, and then we hope then to, from sort of middle of the year, to be heading up to the Nordics and just see how much we can see up around there. So we're not really putting too much pressure on the exact plan of what we want to do, but that's kind of what we're what we're hoping to achieve. But initially, escaping south to hopefully get a little bit of winter and springtime sunshine.
Another thing we've done is join the worldwide Trusted House Sitters site, where you can look after people's animals in return for obviously staying at their home. Now, we've managed to get one sit, which we're really looking forward to, and it's just a 2-day, 1-night with 2 little dogs. And we thought that would be a good starting point because we've not done it before, and we just want to make sure that we do a good job and it's something that we want to do going forward. So we have got one of those booked in Spain, which we're looking forward to.
Yeah, you know we love dogs, our animals in general, and so we get a little bit of a doggy fix.
We've been looking after a friend's dog, 2 dogs regularly. Dogs, they're gorgeous.
They're beautiful, love them.
And they come up when they go for their walk. They actually run to our front door now, want to be let in.
Yeah.
So I'm really upset that I'm not going to be seeing those guys again. So it gives me a little bit of my doggy fix.
And as you know, during lockdown or just post-lockdown, we actually fostered 5 different dogs as well. So it would be really good to get that dog/animal fix. Just a word of caution, if you are thinking of joining the Trusted House Sitters, read the small print, because sometimes they hide a little horse in there somewhere or something, like a dog and a cat and a horse. It's like, what? So be mindful of that. But yeah, we have a pet sit booked in the first couple of weeks in March.
So I wanted to say a little bit about our reasoning behind doing this. Nigel's mentioned that we've been planning it for quite some time. Obviously, I've had a lot of mental health issues over the years, and whilst I've really loved being in Portrush, I'm finding that it's not really getting significantly better. So whenever we've travelled in the past, it's always been like a medicine for me. But with lockdown and getting a bit older, I've started to become more and more fearful, and not just fearful of travel, pretty much fearful of life and everything. So it kind of got to a point in our lives where we either tried to throw ourselves into things more here, or we took a chance and we went and did the travelling that we've always talked about. My fear has never been greater than how it is right now. Sorry, I'm getting a bit emotional, but my fear has probably never been greater than it is right now. And I wake up every day terrified of what we're doing. I'm actually terrified of leaving and going on this journey. But at the same time, I'm terrified of not. So my message, I guess, to anybody in the same situation is, if fear is holding you back, just take each day, pack each box and keep going. Because I'm hoping that once we leave and get on the road, things will start to improve. And the biggest mistake I think I could have made is giving in to this fear and staying put. So don't let fear stop you. You may see some people on other videos getting so excited about going and, it's the best thing ever. Not everybody feels like that when they're about to do this journey, but it doesn't mean it's not the right thing to do. Try and be brave. Try and keep going. And you know what? If 6 months down the line it doesn't work out, then we'll come back or we'll go try something else. But they always say the biggest regret is not doing things. So do it. Just try and do it if you can.
I'm apprehensive mostly from a logistical perspective. As you know, I am pretty much responsible for our lives on the road. Nicola, we do a bit of travel writing, I do a little bit of photography, but Nicola is our main kind of money earner. And so from a logistics point of view, not least looking after, I am not mechanically minded whatsoever. So what has been keeping me awake at night is something bad going wrong with the van, something with the gas or the electrics or something, and being unable to fix it. Now, I probably should have taken a crash course in van maintenance before we decided to do this, but I guess I'll just have to learn on the road and phone Mr. Espanol mechanic. So that's, I think, managing and keeping us kind of safe on the road and keeping us moving has kind of kept me more awake than leaving this place. I'm going to miss this place too. As Nicola says, the relationships that we have fostered have been fantastic. It is such a welcoming community.
I think, just jumping in there, that's another reason I'm finding it hard to leave. You treat your home as like a safe place, I think, and the people that help make that safe are your friends and family and things. And so saying goodbye to them is really, really tough. But, they'll still be there when you come back.
So I think that's probably everything that we wanted to update you on in this week's vlog. Sorry it's been a bit of an indoor chatty one, but we really wanted to just throw this in here before we started on our journey. Now, things are still a little bit up in the air in terms of completing on the flat and all of that. So I think the next few days are going to be relatively stressful. So we're not quite sure. We're hoping to get on the road by next week. We're actually going to hopefully pop down and see people in Cambridge and whatever, but who knows? It's still all a little bit up in the air. But suffice to say, yes, we're leaving Portrush, we're leaving Ireland, and we're heading off in a little tin box to try to find a little bit of happiness. And as we've said in our vlogs for many a year, trying to travel ourselves happy. And actually, over the last couple of years, I, for one, have certainly been happy on the road. And I've also seen this one completely not only come out of our shell, but actually start to recommend that we should do things that terrify me. And I am pretty confident that that's going to be the case as well. Because from my perspective, one of the reasons why I'm kind of doing this as well is because I really want Nick to be happy and fearless as well. And she is fearless when she's on the road and happier when she's on the road. And we know that we're not going to be on the road forever. We're getting quite old long in the tooth now. So we're just really seeing this as perhaps a little bit of a gap year or gap years. Go and have a little bit of fun while we can. Go and see the world, not just what you're told on the box in the corner of the room.
I'm sure there's going to be quite a few tears over the next few days.
Yeah, I don't think Portrush has a foghorn, but I'm pretty sure on that day that we're leaving Portrush, people, in fact, maybe not a foghorn, but people will probably think there's an ambulance behind them because you'll hear this here and be like, well, guys, a bit of a technical issue with the last little bit of the vlog, so we're recording this a couple of days later. But yeah, we just wanted to catch you up with what our plans are. Big plans, but as always, we'll bring you guys along for the ride as well. I think it's going to be quite an interesting one, and we're now 2 days more into Stressville. So
I'm really shell-shocked, I think, by the fact we're really going.
Yeah, we've been saying our goodbyes to people, but hey.
Which is really, really sad, really hard. I think that's the hardest thing about going, is just leaving the people behind.
They ain't going to fit in the van, so they can't come. And I'm not sure they want to come in the van with us anyway. So the amount of people who've said to us, you and your wife in an enclosed space for an extended period of time, couldn't do that.
We've had two reactions to our plans. One is like, oh, I'm really jealous. Oh, it's going to be amazing. And the other is, yeah, what? I couldn't do that. Yeah. You're just crazy.
There's nowhere in the middle.
No.
It's polar opposites. Right, guys. Well, once again, thanks, Mr. Siegel. Thanks a lot for following along. And until next time.
When hopefully I'll be a lot more upbeat and enjoying it and not sad.
Please bet now. See you later, guys.
Bye.
Bye.